Hello, it's Saturday, May the 10th, and I'm out for my little bit of a walk here. Just done about 3 miles, taking a breather here. I'll do at least 8 miles today, which is not uncommon for me at all. I am in downtown Dedham, Massachusetts. Looking at a beautiful church there that was built in the 1760s and enlarged 1820, etc, etc, etc. But anyway, it's a message of greeting to the 180 people that's in my little group of common sense people. The reason I set up that group is to maybe get some people together using their little bit of common sense, such as we have sometimes anyway, to form a little nucleus and to form a small political party or whatever. If I can get that done, I will let whoever steps forward go with the flow and take it from there and see how they go. I will set out a set of principles and a structure, etc. And if I can get some people to agree with one another, well, it's their baby from that point on. Now, I was watching, I had meant to make a video on something called LETS, L-E-T-S, which stands for Local Trading Company. It's a sort of an economic system. I'll get into that. I also had intended to do a video on why people strive and seek out leaders. Any leader at all. They just need a leader. That's why we've got popes and presidents and leaders of national movements and etc. That human trait leads to a lot of problems because the leaders will use people's weaknesses in seeking out a leader to put themselves forward as a leader that they don't really need. Also, I was watching a complete live feed on the protest up in Donegal today, Bundoran. It was set up by Ken McMenamin and John Malloy. It was very, very good. Now, I've had seen, as I have said before, 2 or 3 protests that were not good for different reasons. But the one in Carrickmacross was excellent, and this one was actually excellent as well. This one was even better. First of all, it seemed to be entirely of local people, maybe 150. That was good. Local people getting together and meeting their neighbours is always very good. They had a meeting at point A, and then it was decided by some to continue down to point B, downtown. Kim McMenamin said no, he wasn't going to do that because there was a football game on or something to that effect. A lot of people voiced their displeasure at that course of action, and then fair play to Kim McMenamin, he read the crowd and he says, okay, I'll go with the flow. So himself and John Malloy brought the crowd down. It was shown in a live feed by Niall McConnell up there. He's very good, of course. And he had somebody else do his camera work, and he was going from hither and yon, and it was all very good. But it was certainly a protest that did exactly what I believe a protest should do. It stopped outside the offices of the local Sinn Féin TD, or at least one of the local Sinn Féin TDs. Needless to say, that led to a little bit of a verbal confrontation. Those people in the office were very, very displeased indeed, and one lady came out and she voiced her displeasure, and it was very dramatic viewing indeed, and she eventually was hustled off back in again. That is exactly what needs to be done. These local politicians need to be confronted, and their lives will be impacted by them accepting that their treason, etc., will not be gone unnoticed for much longer. And it would have been disconcerting to them to see so many people that some years ago that they might have viewed as their supporters now shouting and calling them traitors. It was a beautiful moment. Niall McConnell himself was also accosted by some young lady. Perhaps she had a beverage on, who knows, I have no idea. But anyway, she was angry. And she was saying he was married to an English person. She took that very badly. He denied he was married to an English person, or indeed a German person, or any other person for that matter, except an Irish woman. And believe it or not, it threw him for a little bit of a loop. He was a little bit knocked out of kilter with this. But the Gardaí were there and it moved on. Then it went down to the focus point, which was outside the hotel, owned by these local people that are wealthy and getting more wealthy through greed, etc. And that was very good. And then they returned to their point of origin and they disbanded. Anybody that wished got to speak. There was a few speakers. One fellow was very, he was a bit out there. I don't know who he was. But anyway, regardless of his views, everybody got to speak, and it was a wonderful protest. It was very successful. I think that is the way to go. These monster protests, people driving up from all over the country at their own great expense, to no great benefit, in my view, apart from the rising of the vote counts of some particular individuals that will decide that they are the leaders, etc., etc. But it's not for the general good. It's just good for the very small number of people. Anyway, that is why I set up this group. I intend to be making regular videos. I enjoy making videos. Normally I'm sitting at home, but today I'm out for my walk, so just wanted to give everybody a little bit of a view of a typical Massachusetts / New England town here. Some people will describe these as leafy suburbs or whatever. Very nice houses all the way back there. They're worth about $2.5 million. If anybody hits the megabucks, they can come out and live 2 miles away from me. Mine is worth considerably less than $2.5 million. 2.25 maybe, whatever. Alright, thank you for watching.